Once again, this week has shown us that being a masculine man is unacceptable. Not only are some women out there thinking that bears are less dangerous than men, but after 110 years, Boy Scout America is changing its name to be more inclusive.
This is the Nico Lagan Show. Warning. This show contains explicit content. Listener discretion is advised. Real, raw, and shooting you straight. This is the Nico Lagan Show. And now your host, Nico.
This episode of the Nico Lagan Show is brought to you by the Alpha Creator Blueprint. If you're a male content creator looking to level up your social media game, check out tacblueprint.com. My name is Nico Lagan. I am a voice for common sense. I believe in accountability, manly men, feminine women, small governments, free speech, the Second Amendment, and God. Like always, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. I want to drive a conversation. So please, if you have something to say, let me know in the chat and we will address it. This is the whole point of me doing this live. I want to interact with you guys. And if you're listening to the video after the fact, or you're listening to the MP3, to the podcast, join me every Friday at noon Eastern. Join me so that we can have those conversations. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but after 110 years, 114 years to be exact, in existence, Boy Scout America will be changing its name. Yup, they will be changing their names starting next year, and the organization will now be called Boy Scout. Actually, sorry. I don't want to butcher it. The new organization is going to be called Scouting America. So why is this happening? Well, it turns out that their CEO and president, Roger Crone, is saying that it's to be more inclusive. And I quote here, it sends this really strong message to everyone in America that they can come to this program, they can bring their authentic self, they can be who they are, and they will be welcomed here. So they're basically rebranding in the name of inclusivity and equality. Bullshit. This is what they're saying, but let me tell you what's really going on here. The real reason they're changing their names is because their numbers have been falling since the 70s. At their peak, they had more than 5 million members. Right now, just over 1 million. So what the fuck happened? Well, turns out that between 1971 and 1990, more than 1,100 scouts reported being abused by their leaders. Some source claim that it's more like 2,000 reports of abuse prior to 1994. There's so many fucking cases that in 2021, the insurer for Boy Scout America put together a fund of $800 million for its survivors. It's probably one of the reasons why they're going fucking bankrupt. Because part of their bankruptcy settlement, Boy Scout America agreed to put $2.4 billion, that is billion with a fucking B, into the fund, with payments beginning in September 2023. Oh man, just to prove a point, on Instagram, Barra J239 is saying that I am one. So bro, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're saying that you are part of that 1,200, like 1,100 to 2,000 reports of abuse? If so, man, bro, we need to talk. I would love to hear your story. If you want to share on Instagram, I will share it. I will repeat it here. But brother, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. If you're part of it, I'd love to hear more, because this is messed up. This is really fucking messed up. But you know what's even more messed up about this whole thing, and this is what drives me absolutely fucking ballistic, is that instead of dealing with the problem that they're having, the pedophile problems that seems to be joining their ranks, they're claiming that they're rebranding in the name of inclusivity. I fail to understand how adding girls and changing their names to Scouting America is going to fix their pedophile problem. Because to me, that's what's going on. They're literally going bankrupt because they had to put billions of dollars in a fund. And now, instead of admitting that they fucked up so bad that they're going bankrupt, they're thinking that rebranding and accepting girls instead of dealing with the pedophile problem that they seem to have is a good idea. How the fuck is adding girls to this problem going to fix the problem? It makes no sense to me. Makes absolutely zero fucking sense to me. And I would go even further than that. For all the geniuses out there that thought about the name Scouting America, are you fucking kidding me? That sounds like you're branding yourself as a pedophile organization. So is that what's really going on here? This is insane. Who the fuck thought that Scouting America was a great name? It really sounds like a pedo organization. It's so fucked up. It is so fucked up. But man, oh, hold on. Barra J239. Yes, I'm part of the 92,000 who filed in 2020. What the fuck? Man, when I was doing research, they weren't talking about 92,000 people. Are you fucking kidding me? 92,000 people filed abuse cases against Boy Scout America. Hey man, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm laughing because this is just insane. Absolutely fucking insane. Absolutely insane. How in the world, if they couldn't handle the old problem, are they going to be able to handle the new problem in this new age? Yeah, bro, 100%. I couldn't agree with you more. How fucked up that instead of dealing with a problem, we're just going to say, hey, let's rebrand and accept little girls into this program. Somehow that will magically make the pedophile problem we have go away. No, bro, that's going to make it worse. That's going to make it fucking worse. Deal with the problem that is happening right now. I don't want to say why are pedophiles attracted to this, because it makes fucking sense why they are, because it's filled with kids. But how are they not doing a better job at filtering those people, at figuring out probably that those people shouldn't be involved? Barra, again, yes, 92,000. That's so fucked up. Almost 100,000 people are part of that suit. That's so crazy. That's so fucked up. And of course, it goes all the way back to the 1960s. Yeah, no shit, huh? Man, that's just messed up. But thanks for sharing, bro. But that's just fucking messed up, if you ask me. But let's put the scandals aside for a minute, and let's talk about what seems to be happening everywhere nowadays, where the feminization of everything. In this case, male organizations like the Boy Scouts. But why is it that everything needs to be inclusive nowadays? Like everything needs to be allowed for women. Everything needs to cater to little girls and women. Why can we not let boys be boys around other boys? Why do women and girls need to be involved in everything that boys and men do? For thousands of years, it was understood that men needed to be around other men, and that boys needed to be around other boys, and that boys needed strong male role models to teach them what it means to be a man. So it's in today's world, it's not enough that boys in schools are expected to behave like little girls, to stay still and behave, and if they don't, we're going to pump you full of medication. That in the US right now, 3.8% of elementary schools, 7.9% of middle school, and 2.1% of high school provide daily exercise. That means that more than 90% of the schools out there do not provide daily exercise anymore. PE classes are no longer existent on a daily basis. How are boys supposed to behave if we don't allow them to externalize their aggression? Let's be honest here. Boys have a lot more energy than little girls. They do not sit well and just listen. We don't learn the same way as girls do. So why is it that we treat them like they are little girls? And if they don't, we punish them for it. So it's not enough that boys are expected to behave like little girls, that in the name of equality and inclusion, we are basically destroying all the male-only organization. But if it couldn't get worse, it's somehow sexist for men to have men-only organization. But today's society is totally okay and finds it acceptable for women-only organization. So boys can no longer be boys surrounded by other boys. Men can no longer be men. Men cannot teach boys how to become men anymore. And we're destroying all the organization that allow men to teach boys and boys to be around men. Just for shits and giggles, I encourage you to Google women-only organizations. Click on the first link, that is Wikipedia. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of organizations listed there. Now, for shits and giggles, Google men-only organization and see the difference for yourself. It's fucking hilarious when you think about it, because the second article that comes up is Wikipedia. Not only do all the organization in North America fit on one single page, like the men-only organization fit on one single page, but the first one listed is Boy Scout of America, which has been accepting little girls since 2019. So not only is there one page worth of organization in North America, while you check the women version, the women only organization, and you have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. But the first one that they list is not even men or boy only anymore. And it hasn't been for years. So what is so hard to understand about boys needing to be around other boys and having strong masculine figures to teach them what it is to be a man? Because it's a fact. Like it or not, boys and girls are not the same. And they don't behave the same when boys are surrounded by girls or men are surrounded by women. We're not going to behave the same. We need to be around other men. So do boys. They need to be around other boys. I'll push it even further. Women cannot teach a boy how to become a man. Only a man can. So can we stop with all this inclusivity crap and admit that boys need other boys? Boys need more mature men to be role models for them. And that takes nothing away from women. Women play their part in raising children, so do men, and men are needed today more than ever. And for all the people out there that don't think that there's an agenda going on where they're feminizing men, get your fucking eyes examined. The truth and the matter is that this is done on purpose. It's not an accident because masculine men are dangerous. Not only are we the first and the last line of defense, but we will stand up for what is right. We have the need to do what needs to get done to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities. Masculine men are hard to control, but weak men aren't because they don't offer any type of resistance. They don't think for themselves, let alone stand up for anything. A weak population is easy to control. Now, let you know what? Just to prove my point, just to prove my fucking point on this one. Men versus bear. Have you guys heard of this shit? Have you guys heard of the trend that's going on TikTok right now? It's everywhere now, but it started on TikTok, I think, last week, where there's women out there that believe that they would be more safe in the woods with a bear than they would be with a man. When I first read this, when I first saw the video, I'm like, this can't be serious. It has to be a joke. Like, it has to be satire. It's probably because I'm too old and I don't fucking understand the joke, but turns out that it's not bullshit. There's actually women out there that believe that they would be safer in the woods with a bear than they would be with a man. It blows my fucking mind how people like that actually exist. You know what we should do? Every woman out there that believes that this to be true, this to be a fact, we should send them into the woods by themselves. Go spend a few nights, one night alone by yourself in the woods. See what happens. How long do you think it's going to take before they call a man to come help them? How long do you think they can survive by themselves? The average woman out there that is so ignorant, I will call them ignorant, that is so ignorant that they honestly believe that men are dangerous to a point where a bear is safer. Obviously, you've never been around bears. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Let's put the men aside for a second. Clearly, those women have never been around bears. They've never been in a situation where there was a bear there. They don't realize how big those things are and the type of damage that they can cause you. They really don't like you. They don't care about you. They can pretty much kill you like this if they want to. And I'm not talking about grizzly bears. I'm not talking about the biggest bears you can imagine. There's bears in North America that will basically kill you for being on their territory. So stop lying to yourself thinking that bears are safe. But you know what? Let's talk about the thing that blows my mind the most about this. It's not even the fact that they believe that it's true, is that they're so privileged. Like, those women are so delusional and privileged that they actually forget who's taking care of them on a daily basis. If shit happens in their lives, if somebody enters their house, they need help, who do they call? Male police officers. If their house is on fire, who do they call? Firemen. Who grows their food? Who transports everything that they buy? Who builds their house? The roads that they use every day? Who maintains all the infrastructure that surround them that they use on a daily basis? Who fixes their car? when it stops working properly? Men. Everything you see around you right now has been built and is being maintained by a man. This whole society that you enjoy, that those privileged women enjoy, was built on the back of men through sweat and blood and sacrifice. Men do all the jobs that women don't want to do. And it's not because women can't do those jobs. Absolutely not. Most jobs that men do, women can do. Absolutely. They don't want to. Why? Because they're hard, they're dangerous, and they suck. Have you ever seen what it is to work on an oil rig? There's a great video online right now of a woman that's reacting to it, and it's fucked up. Oil rig workers are fucking beasts. There's a good reason why 95% of the top 20 jobs in the world are done by men. Not because women can't do it, because they don't want to. And men are all about getting shit done. And we also understand that with more risk, there's better pay, and we want to be able to provide for our family. So basically, men do dangerous jobs in order to provide for their families, and then women that they care for, or the women in society as a whole that we're trying to protect and help, turn around and tell us that, you know what, bro? I'd rather be in the woods with a bear than you. That's fucked up when you think about it. Like, it's completely horrendous to think that this is even feasible, that this whole thing would not collapse if it wasn't for the fact that men are doing the work. I got a buddy of mine that calls this the aquarium effect. So basically, our society is the water tank where the fishes are. We are the fish, and we don't realize what everything that goes on behind the glass. We don't understand how many people are involved in feeding us, how many people are involved in making sure the pH of the water is great, making sure that everything's good, that the tank is cleaned. There's no difference in today's society. There's so much that happens behind the scenes that the average person does not understand what actually needs to happen in order for us to live the way we do in North America. And you know what's the most fucked up part is, depending where you are right now, if your grocery store is not replenished within 48 hours, it will go empty. This is how privileged we are. There's men out there driving trucks all over the fucking place that brings our goods everywhere. But no, we don't need men anymore. And don't get me wrong here. I'm not bashing women as a whole. I love women. Men need women. Women need men. All I'm trying to say is, man, can we stop this crap? Can we fucking admit that we do need each other, that men and women complement each other? That's all I'm saying. Men need women. Women need men. But before I go any further, let me say this. Just to go back on the point of men versus bear. I wonder if those women realize that the people that are the most at risk of domestic violence are lesbians. Think about this for a second. The most at-risk individual for domestic violence is a woman because of violence committed against her by another woman. So can we cut the bullshit and just admit that violence is a human problem and not a men problem? Even worse, do you guys realize that masculine men are not violent? Masculine men want to care, to provide, to protect. That's what we do. You know who is the most violent men out there? Weak men. And that is exactly what our society is raising right now. a bunch of fucking weak, effeminate men that are selfish, that don't care about anything else outside of themselves. Yet a masculine man is selfless. He thinks about others before thinking about himself. This is why this society was built. Because we cared so much that we wanted to build an environment where our families could thrive, could survive in. Because it's fucking wild out there when you're not protected by a bunch of masculine men. And as Jordan Peterson said, if you think tough men are dangerous, wait until you see what weak men are capable of. That being said, we're almost done. There's 5 minutes left, and I don't want to finish on a bad note because it seems like I'm just fucking bashing women here, and that was not the point. I love you, women. I love women. Men need women. So don't get me wrong. But let's finish on a good news. Let's finish on something positive because it's Friday after all. Do you remember the Australian bishop that was attacked while giving a sermon a few weeks ago by a Muslim teenager? At least, I can't remember the age, but he looked like he was a teenager, a very young man. His name is Bishop Mar Mary Emmanuel. Do you remember that guy? He's still around. He's good, ready to go. He has an eye patch now because of the attack, so I'm not sure if he's losing his eye or something, but he was attacked by a Muslim boy right in church. And you know what he did? He actually gave a sermon forgiving the boy. But not only that, not only did he give that sermon, but right now he is talking about freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom as a whole. Because people are trying to censor the video of his attack because it was everywhere online. But now traditional media and social media are trying to censor the attack. But that guy, Bishop Emmanuel, wants people to see the attack, to see the fact that whatever happened, he forgave that boy. And we need to be exposed to that violence because it does remind us that shit does happen. But not only does shit do happen, but there are more important rights than being exposed to violence. Free speech is more important. Freedom of religion is more important. It's more important to have freedom of speech than encouraging censorship. I don't know many guys that would want their attack video, a video showing them getting attacked, being viewed by millions of people, to stay online. But this is how good of a man we're talking about here. You gotta love this guy. You gotta love guys like that. And if there's one thing that we need is more men just like him. Because men like him remind me that although there's a lot of evil in this world, there are still good men, there are still good women, there are still good people out there that do good. Perfect example. So if sometimes you're sad because the world does seem like a bad place, remember that bad wouldn't exist without good and good wouldn't exist without bad. Although regular traditional media outlets don't talk about the good stuff very often, guys like Bishop Emmanuel still exist, and there's a lot of good men out there and good women. So that's it for me. I want to thank you for joining the Friday recap edition of the Nico Lagan Show. And if you like this episode, make sure to like, comment, share, and follow. And I'm going to close with a prayer. God, thank you for everything that you do for us. We are grateful for all our blessings. Please help us find the courage to stand up for what we know is right, the words to speak what needs to be said, and the will to continue to help and serve others. Amen.